Hey, everybody. Tuesday night, the Montreal Canadiens come away with a 5-3 win over they who must not be named. Yeah, that's the Utah Hockey Club. It started out looking like garbage even before the game began. Let's get to it. Hey, everybody. I am, of course, Kosta, welcoming you to another edition of Montreal Hockey Talk. And let's get rid of that cat right out of the bag right away. And Emil Heineman and what happened to him. He was 100 meters from the hotel and got hit by a car while he was crossing the street. I mean, come on, Utah. Salt Lake City, show a little bit of class. I mean, you know, I'm kidding. I'm sure they didn't even know he played for the hockey team. Half of them don't even know the hockey team exists in Utah. But anyway, that being said, 3 to 4 weeks for Emil Heineman and the Montreal Canadiens losing a huge piece. He's third in rookie goal scoring. So, 4 weeks without him. We'll see if the Canadiens call anybody up. I'd like to see Josh Roy. It might be Owen Beck. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about tonight's hockey game. And the Habs win 5-3, despite the fact that the Zebras decided they were going to penalize them through the gills to start the hockey game. And it all began with, you guessed it, a penalty by Michael Pezzetta. It's becoming a little bit too much of a habit for Mike to take a penalty early on in a hockey game. And this one just looked horrible. Reached in with his right hand, grabbed the opponent's stick, and then fell to try to make it look like, oh shit, I lost my balance. Well, Mike, you got caught. You're gone. I think he got 5.5 minutes or so of ice time for the entire hockey game. It was nice knowing you. In the meantime, Marty St. Louis, double shifting guys out there the rest of the hockey game. Montreal behind the 8 ball, a 5-on-3. Utah scores. I mean, it is what it is. And it's not anything to do with the way they played tonight. But early on in the first period, what was happening to the Canadiens more often than not is that because of the fact that they were in so much penalty trouble, because of the fact the players were really fatigued throughout the period, and through no fault of their own, they were choosing to use the boards more often than not to try to clear the puck. And, you can't do that. And what happened is Utah was taking it away, controlling the mid-ice lane, and just bringing it right down the throat of the Canadiens. The Canadiens only getting 3 shots, despite the fact that they did score on their first shot on goal, which came off the stick of Mike Matheson's. Wow, what a burst of speed. I mean, like he was shot out of a cannon. Still, they come out of that period 2-1, relatively unscathed, thanks to the goaltending of one Sam Montembeault. Then, second and third period was all Montreal Canadiens. Kirby Dach scoring a pair of goals. Lane Hutson finishing the night with 3 assists. I mean, Lane being Lane, leading rookie scoring. I mean, what more can you say about the kid? Corey Pronman, are you anywhere in the vicinity listening to this shit? Because you came out and said, oh, he's not an elite skater and he doesn't have elite hockey sense. You, my friend, do not have any type of hockey knowledge whatsoever. You should be banned from the internet, banned from going on radio shows, banned from writing anything of relevance because, oh my God, you are wrong beyond wrong. What's next? You're going to turn around and say that the Hughes brothers can't play hockey? Just saying. Anyhow, Kirby Dach getting a pair of goals, including the insurance marker in the third period. Canadiens coming away 5-3. And, you can't get any better than that. So, the Habs, they're going to be headed over to Dallas for another game against the Stars on Thursday. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But in the meantime, kudos to all the guys out there. They didn't quit. They kept working. And lo and behold, they come away with a 3-point victory. Now, moving on, let's talk about Sam Montembeault. Those of you who watch this show on a regular basis know I've been extremely critical of Monty and his goaltending. Tonight, I'm taking it all in. You can see clear as day that Sam Montembeault is reading the play better. You saw that from the multitude of cross-crease saves he was making, going side to side laterally and making stops all night long on guys like Logan Cooley and Clayton Keller. So, give the man his due. He's been working hard and moving across the crease. He even used his stick to deflect the pass later in the hockey game away from the danger area. So there are a lot of things that I criticize that I'm starting to see Montembeault do on a regular basis. And the one question I ask myself is whether or not this has to do with the fact that he changed his mask. Because it seems like since he's changed his mask, his ability to see the ice has become much better. Now, I'm probably going to have to go back and look at pictures of him before and after. During the game, I took a look, and now this is something that I had trouble with. So that's why I'm talking from experience. I used to play with the Mike Osgood type of cage, the cat eyes cage that was just completely around your head, what they used to call a broomball cage, right? With the old style Cooper lid on top, right? And you could see everything. There was nothing in your way, just the bars. When they brought forward the goalie mask with the cage in the middle, it has that window, right? Where the cage goes over top. The problem, though, with it is that depending on where it sits on your chin and your forehead, what happens is it may very well limit your ability to see peripherally, okay? And so it has to be adjusted so that you can see peripherally. Oftentimes, goaltenders don't feel it's comfortable in that position, so they adjust it back to where they feel more comfortable, and then it becomes a detriment to their game because they can't see sideways. And now, whether or not that's the case with Montembeault, I'd have to go look at his old mask and his new mask, how it sat on his face to really clearly say whether or not that was the problem. But the one thing I did notice from him tonight as well is he had his head on a swivel. I didn't see that the other night, although he did play much better than he did previously. But he was turning his head. He was looking to see where players were. He was taking numbers so that he can anticipate where passes were going, and he did just that. So for all the criticism I laid out there, you can tell he's really working on those particular parts of his game, and it's starting to bear fruit for the Montreal Canadiens because he's been spectacular in the last two games, including the loss against the Dallas Stars on Saturday. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about that came up during the game was something that somebody called me out on BlueSky when it came to David Savard and Kirby Dach. After Utah scored the go-ahead goal, David Savard ripped into Kirby Dach by the Canadiens bench because, and this is something that the fans said, I can't really say yes or no, but apparently he was yelling at Dach because he took the fourth straight penalty for the Canadiens. Now, whether you think that's the case or not, I don't necessarily think it was, because Savard has been very critical of the officiating in this league since the beginning of the season. So I would think it was more directed towards the officials than it was his teammate. But if it was directed towards his teammate, number one, holy hell, man, you should know as a veteran that you don't do that where everybody can see it. You want to do it when you're sitting next to him on the bench. You want to do it in the locker room, go right ahead. But to do it while you're on the ice is really irresponsible. But I don't believe that's what happened. If it did happen, Kirby Dach responded in spades. He had a hell of a hockey game. You know, after that penalty, and no fault of his own because it looked rather weak to me anyway as a trip, but he played extremely well. Like the last few games, he was on the tip of his toes, skating up and down the ice with speed. That showed in his first goal when he cut in after that great play by, once again, Lane Hutson to delay everything and get everybody's attention towards him, and then feeding a pass cross ice to Dach, who was streaking in, made a great timely move to get around the poke check of Vejmelka, the Utah goaltender, and he put it in on the backhand. It was a pièce de résistance. Then, late in the game, takes a shot from distance. It goes off the stick of Marino, dips on Vejmelka. No fault of the goaltenders, but it gives Montreal that insurance goal that they needed late to try to just kind of breathe a sigh of relief. But just so you understand, okay, and this is directed to the fan. I'm not going to say his name or put his handle out there. If you watch the show, great. If you don't, I don't care. But for everybody out there, there is a certain rule of thumb when it comes to the game of hockey, whether you're a pro, whether you're playing junior, or whatever level you're at. The one thing that you never do is make your teammate look bad. You never do that. Because whether you like it or not, everybody's eyes are on you. So if the coach decides to yell at a player, that's a completely different story. Coaches do that. But for another player on a team, a teammate, to come out and embarrass a player like that where everybody's watching, it's a no-no. So that's why I don't think Savard did that. Savard's a veteran. Savard's been in the trenches. I don't think it was him. I think he was pissed at the referees because he's been pissed at the refs before. And By extension, if you watch that second goal, Savard made a couple of mistakes blatant on that. Number one, he went out of his way to go after, I forget who it was along the boards, who he cross-checked into the boards and broke his stick. And then he came to the front of the net and he cross-checked Cooley before the puck went in. Never really getting back into the play. So if you want to be pissed off at anybody, you should be pissed off at yourself for not reading the play and coming to your goaltender's aid or helping out defensively. Instead, you went and cross-checked a guy who didn't even have the puck in front of the net. For what? You're not clearing him out of the front of the net because there's a point shot coming in. You're not clearing him from the front of the net because he's poking at a puck. You went in and you cross-checked him from maybe about 4 feet in front of your own goal because you wanted to do it, because you were pissed off. Savvy, you should know better than that as a veteran. You should not be doing that, period. Now, the Canadiens, as I mentioned, are going to get to Dallas tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow technically because it's after midnight. But Thursday to take on the Dallas Stars. Game time is 8 p.m. Now, we saw what the Stars brought to the table on Saturday. Canadiens losing 2-1 in a shootout. It's a winnable hockey game, right, against the Dallas Stars. Whether or not that's the case without Heineman in there, again, we're going to find out whether or not they call somebody up. Michael Pezzetta cannot be the answer up front for the Canadiens. He can't. He's making too many mental mistakes out there. He's done for me. He should be on waivers going down to the American Hockey League, and 2 players should he be coming back up to take his position and Heineman's while Heineman is in convalescence. But, we'll see what happens. Ken Hughes is a smart man. He'll know what to do. I have all the faith in the world in his decision-making, so we'll take it from there. But in the meantime, be happy with Montreal's 5-3 win against a team that shall not be named. Reference to Harry Potter, for those of you that don't get it. They should name them the Utah Voldemorts and just get it over with. That being said, Utah looked like they got the new kid discount with all the penalties and power plays that they got through the hockey game. I forgot to mention that during the game, Jake Evans made a great play shorthanded and managed to not only get a shot off, but get a penalty shot, which Familka did a very good job cutting off the angles and taking away any chance for Evans to score. But that being said, there are a lot of guys that do good work. Got to give some love to Yoel Armia on the shorthanded side of things as well, and Josh Anderson. They continue to do great work along with Jake Evans killing penalties. So there's a lot of good happening right now for the Canadiens. Another win tonight, 2 points, staying close to that wild card spot. It's great news. We'll see you on Thursday night.